So this video is just gonna be a get ready with me. I just did my natural hair, and you can see that video in the previous video how I did my wash and go. So tune into that. But this video is gonna be me just doing my makeup and chit chatting, a story time of my labor and delivery experience from what I can remember. So tune in. So here we go. And this is not really a tutorial. I'm just doing my makeup, so I'm not really showing, every makeup I'm using, but just watch me do my makeup and listen to my story. Put some lip gloss on. Clear lip gloss. Yeah, so and I'm looking down and getting my makeup. Getting some of my makeup. Yeah, so I'm just gonna tell the story like I remember. I don't have every specific detail, but yeah, it was a Sunday evening. Me and my husband, well, let me go back. I was 37 weeks pregnant. The following Monday would have been 38 weeks pregnant, and I actually had a doctor's appointment. By that time I had an appointment every week at the OBGYN I was going to. So I had an appointment that following Monday at 1 p.m. But let's rewind. It's that Sunday evening, night actually. I remember it was around 10. Me and my husband were about ready to get ready to go to sleep. And we were just talking, like we always do before bedtime, talking and just, we had a long day, get ready to go to sleep and rest, get ready for the following Monday. We had an appointment to go to, and he always went with me to each OBGYN doctor visit. So I thought that was amazing. But anyways, and I'm trying to do my makeup for the first time looking in the camera, so excuse me. But yeah, so we were just talking, and it was around 10:30. I felt like a little gush of water or something wet down in my vaginal area. My underwear felt wet, and I paused for a minute. I just didn't say nothing, and I was like, thinking, I know that ain't my water breaking already. So I just told my husband, I don't know, could be. So we started Googling it. Could it be? Could it not be? Next thing I know, more came out. So by that time I was getting nervous, a little scared, like no, when you don't expect it to happen that soon. And meanwhile, during church service that morning, I felt like some, I was getting his contractions. So I thought, that was that. All day, off and on, I would get it. But it was nothing, like major contractions. So it was painful. So I believe that was still Braxton Hicks, the practice contractions. But, so I called my OBGYN office, and they said the on-call doctor from the hospital would give me a call back. And when I told her what was going on, she said, yeah, she needed to go ahead and come on right into the hospital. So me and my husband, when I got the phone, we were rushing, trying to get, we had everything, our hospital bags packed already in the car, but we had to get our oldest son's, our 11-year-old son, his bag together to go with his grandparents so we could go to the hospital. So we had to get that together. My husband was getting the fur babies together, getting their food and water, and I don't know what else he was doing, but he was helpful, so helpful. So I believe around 11:30, like an hour later, I actually took a shower, got dressed. So around like 11:30, we got in the car, headed to the emergency department at the hospital. And we pulled up. During the drive, we were like, can't believe this is happening already, It's time. We were like nervous, excited. We knew the coming. We didn't know what to expect. But as soon as we pulled up, I waited in the car. My husband ran in to the emergency room, got me a wheelchair, got me out the car, and just had the car parked there until we got in. Got me sitting in the wheelchair, and emergency room nurse came down. She was called down to come, take us up to the labor and delivery unit. And actually at that time, there was another woman that was pregnant. And I overheard her saying she was around 38 weeks. And actually I turned 38 weeks because by the time we got to the hospital, it was going on midnight. So I was technically 38 weeks pregnant as well. So yeah, the other one was pregnant. She was getting in her wheelchair. I was getting in mine. So the emergency room nurse that took us to the labor and delivery floor, she was like, this is the first time, there's two women rolling down together same time to the labor and delivery unit. So it was like, it's a first. And I thought it was cool that we both, the nurse and I, both had the same Nike tennis shoes on. So that's off topic, but I thought that was cool. We both had the same shoes. We matching. Yeah, so we just had a little laugh about that. So once we got off we actually got on the elevator to go on up to I believe it was on the second floor, the labor and delivery floor. So when we got up there, the nurse up there told me to go ahead and stand up, and they wanted to check my weight on the scale, and I was exactly 150 pounds and like 0.6 or something like that. So that was the last weight. They told me to go wait in the room. It was a room they told me to go to, and she gave me a gown to get in. And once I did that, and she was in the room and told me lay down, and she hooked me up to the baby monitor. By that time, my husband came back from parking the vehicle, and I believe that's when I got my IV, and they put it in my hand, right? I did not like that. That hurt. It was right there. I still got a little scar from that. You can see that. But yeah, that hurt. Then the doctor came in after a while, not too long, and was saying, usually women have contractions first and they're dilated. So she checked my cervix, and that hurt so bad, y'all. I don't care. People say it don't hurt. I guess if your cervix is already open and dilated, yes, it won't hurt as bad, but it wasn't even dilated. I believe she said it was very close to one, not even one yet. So I didn't even dilate. I wasn't even dilated yet. My water already broke. So I guess, that's not a good thing. I don't really know why it broke. I didn't do nothing to cause it to break early. But the doctor was saying, that's one thing I didn't like. But I understand, they have to think about the safety of the baby and all, but they said due to my water breaking early that they want to go ahead and basically induce labor and make my contractions come on so that way I can be dilated. Go ahead and start that process instead of being in labor. Instead of, my water breaking, that's the protection for the baby was gone. So they didn't want me in that state too long with my water breaking and no protection for the baby. So she said there's options that I could do, and I don't remember all of it, but she was saying a ribbon that they could insert in me that helped me be dilated more, ripen my cervix, or she was saying you could do that, and then 30 minutes later start the Pitocin, which will help bring on the contractions faster. But she said, I asked her, doesn't Pitocin make contractions hurt more? And she said no, because eventually, you'll still have those painful contractions if you would have had it naturally. But I just knew that from me Googling prior that you know, women say that makes it hurt more. And actually, with my previous pregnancy with my son, I had the Pitocin because my amniotic fluid was too low, and I had to be induced for that pregnancy. But yeah, that Pitocin, if I had to do it all over again, I would not do it with the Pitocin. It made those contractions come on so fast, so soon, and it was painful. So I don't even know what regular contractions feel like when you don't have Pitocin. So that Pitocin, ladies, I would not recommend it at all, at all. So if you can avoid it, please avoid it. As soon as I got on it, it was just not good. The baby's oxygen kept dropping, heart rate, and I had to be put on a little oxygen mask at one point. Dad had flipped me in different positions to the left. Then they said turn to the right, and then at one point, well, by this time, you know, it was so painful. I was moaning. I couldn't even talk. The nurse was coming and checking on the vitals, the monitor, checking the contractions, and I just could not even talk to her. It was hurting. I was just laying there moaning, and I wasn't screaming, but it was just so painful. And I said, she was like, let me know, you know, if you want the pain medications or epidural, because to go ahead and get that order in. I said, yes, please give me the epidural. I don't care. I know some women say, oh, it's not natural and the side effects, but for me, it just, I had to get, I couldn't even bear it. It was just so bad. It hurt so bad. I said I got a scale of 1 to 10. It was like a 20 plus, maybe 100. But it hurt. And I was on the Pitocin for a while, a few hours, I believe, and I got the epidural. The anesthesiologist came in and was talking, saying, you know, asking me am I allergic to anything, or I forgot basically all he was talking about. I just nodded yes or no, and next thing I know, the nurse told me that once the next contraction stops, go ahead and sit up on the edge of the bed, you know, lean over, holding the pillow, and be extremely still, because, you know, you could paralyze you. It could paralyze you if you move during an epidural, because they're putting a needle basically in your spinal area. So I was scared, but I was still in a hurt. I just felt like I couldn't even sit up good. I felt like I was about to fall off the bed. The nurse had to hold me up, and she was like, you gotta sit up, honey. And I was like, oh, I can't. But yeah, she said you gotta sit up, and I got the epidural, and I laid back down. And before the epidural, I felt like I had to use the bathroom just to pee. And you know, the anesthesiologist was already there. She's like, no, you're not gonna be able to use it right now, honey. You have to wait till after. And you know, they put the catheter in me. When you get the epidural, you get a catheter where you don't have to get up to pee. You just pee right into the bag they have hooked up to you. So yeah, they end up hooking that up. I didn't feel it because, you know, the epidural was in me. And at first I felt it more on my left side and not on my right. So I was thinking, I hope it's working, you know, on my right side. And the nurse was like, better know if it doesn't start, if you still feel more pain, because I was beginning to feel no contraction. When the contraction came, I didn't feel it on my left side, but I could feel it a little bit on my right. But not too long after that conversation, the epidural started to work on both sides, so that was good. And my legs it felt so heavy. It felt like weights or something, and tingly in my legs. That's the only way I could describe it, like a tingly sensation, and a heaviness. So yeah, But it started to work and it felt so good. I didn't feel no contractions. It was just good. I got to take me a little nap. But they wanted to keep monitoring, making sure the baby's heart rate was still good. Because they said if it doesn't improve, they may have to do an emergency C-section. You know, I don't want to, you know, for me, I did not want a C-section. I never had one, didn't know what to expect. I just didn't want one. So that's like a major, you know, surgery. And I heard it was painful, and I just did not want to do that. You know, obviously I would if that was the way to save the baby or myself, but I just didn't prefer that. I wanted to do it vaginally. But yeah, they finally got the baby's heart rate going good. Got me on my left side. Well, actually, the right side. I laid on that side, and they said the heart rate back good, and they're just gonna keep monitoring it. So I took me a little nap. By that time, it was morning. I think around 6, 7 a.m. because the sun was coming out, and really everything was just a blur before that. I did not know how all those hours went by. I really don't know how all those hours flew by like that. Next thing I know, it was daylight. And my husband went to bed. He was there right beside my side. My parents came to the hospital, and my mom was there to help report as well. So she was amazing. I don't remember the exact time for everything, but I remember they came and checked me, see how much I was dilated again. Said I was at a 4, I believe. Next thing I know, I was at 9.5 centimeters dilated. So I don't know how it happened so fast, but that Pitocin is really what made it. You know, I didn't like that it made it go so fast, so soon, the dilation. And the contractions hurt so bad. And you know, my baby that was in my womb, she did not like it. So she was not liking it. Heart rate dropping. She didn't like it at all. So I don't know whether the combination of the Pitocin and the epidural or just the Pitocin. But next time around when I have the other pregnancy, I'm gonna see what other options there are besides the Pitocin, because I do not want that. You know, contractions are already bad enough, hurt a lot. So Pitocin is, in my experience, it just makes it worse. Even though I don't know what the contractions feel, I felt it a little bit before I got the Pitocin. My contractions was happening naturally, hurting a little bit, but the Pitocin made it a lot worse. So I don't recommend it. Yeah. So I believe it was around 12 something, 12:30 in the afternoon. Just like I began to start pushing. The doctor came in. The nurse was there with me. We did a few practice pushes. I could not feel anything from the waist below. So when they saw the contractions on the monitor, when the nurse saw it, she told me to go ahead and bear down. I had my legs up. My husband was on one of my legs holding it up. My mom was on the other side. And I just put my chin down like that, and it counted 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I didn't scream. You just bear down, hold your breath, take a deep breath, they said, like this. And then it's like you pushing down. And that's how I did it. And I said, you're a good pusher. You pushing good. Good job. Keep it going. And, you know, I kept that going. Once it was around 1:15, I began to push a lot more. They told me, you know, what positions to do. At one point, I was on my side with a peanut ball in between my legs. They said that can help open up. I forgot the cervix or whatever they said, but it helps open it, keep it open or whatever, help the baby come down. So a few positions I did. I just, you know, went along with what they recommended. I did those positions. and they actually had little handles on the side of the hospital bed. I held on to that real tight and just pushed. When they told me to push, when they told me to stop pushing, I stopped pushing. But thank God I didn't feel anything because of that epidural. I felt a little pressure, but I did not feel any pain at that point. Yeah. So I pushed when they told me to push. And then the doctor, my mom, was saying they saw the baby's head a little bit, saw the baby's hair. And the doctor asked me and my husband, y'all want to see? And so they could get a mirror. And I said, no, that's okay. I just felt like I just didn't want to see her yet. I wanted to wait till she came all the way out. So I just didn't want to see her at that point. But yeah, I kept pushing when they told me to push. They told me to stop pushing at one point, gave me a little break. Every other contraction, we would do pushing. So they let me wait. When there was a contraction, I didn't push. The follow contraction, I didn't push. Took a deep breath when I told me to take a deep breath because I was going to need it. Didn't scream so I could save my energy. And baby came out. Baby came out. And I'm like, hey, baby came out. And I was like, happy birthday, baby girl. And my husband, the doctor asked my husband, he wanted to cut the cord. And he cut the cord. Get a little emotional just thinking about it. And it's his first baby. Even though we have a son and he loves him so much, that's his very own. And I thank God for that. He loves him. And my husband got to be there to cut the cord. My mom was there to experience the birth of our baby girl, first, granddaughter. So it's an amazing feeling. She was born 5 pounds, 4 ounces. I got to hold her on my chest, skin to skin for a little bit. And then they took her to the scale, the heating area where, babies go. They check their weight and, under the light for a little bit. Whatever that bed they have for babies as soon as they come out. So they checked her. They took her footprints. Put her little hospital bracelet on. They put the same one on mine. They told me to make sure the name is spelled correctly. I said yes. They said they'll wait till my epidural wore off a little bit. Or wait just an hour or so, and then I would be transferred to the postpartum room. Right then I was in the labor and delivery room. Once that point came, the nurse helped me to the restroom to help clean me up, and she was amazing. I could not yet walk yet. My epidural had not worn off at that point, so she helped me, put me in this chair, like a wheelchair kinda, so you could stand up on it. So she helped me get on it, and then helped me go to the restroom. Could not use it yet, but they just helped clean me up and put me a new pad on. Gave me a new gown to put on. So that was nice. I needed that. At that point, my husband went to the vehicle and got our rest of our hospital bags because he didn't bring them all in at the beginning. He wanted to wait till we got to the postpartum room, so he went back to the car while the nurse was helping me in the bathroom at that point. And then my husband came back. We went to the postpartum room, and they helped, her and the other nurse helped me get into the postpartum room bed. Actually, that room was kind of hot. The air was not working. I looked at my husband. I said, "No, you're not about to be up in this room for days without having no good air conditioning. I just had a baby. I do not need to be hot." So we told that nurse right away. I said, "Something wrong with the air." Yeah, so at first we thought maintenance man was gonna come and fix it, but I guess it would be a while. So they just went ahead and thank God they had the other room next door that was the same size, because they have smaller rooms, postpartum rooms. It just you could end up getting a bigger room, you could get the smaller room, but we ended up getting the same size. So thank God, it was right next door. So we got to go to that room. And that area was okay. It wasn't the best, but it was a lot better than the other room. So I was thankful. Yeah, so we were thankful for that. We were there for like 3 days, I believe it was. So we came on a Sunday night. We were there all day that Monday, all day Tuesday. And we left that Wednesday morning, like around 10 a.m. So we were discharged, pretty smoothly. And the hospital stay was good. We got meals. They let my husband get one complimentary meal, but they still charge like $5 for him. But that was not too bad. But hospital food wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then my husband would go to the cafeteria, eat us a few things like cheeseburgers. I had to have me some Mountain Dew. I know it's not the healthiest, but and the first thing I had after the first meal I had after the delivery was from Hardee's, and I never had this particular burger, but that burger was so good, the fries. So thank God my parents were there. They blessed us with some Hardee's, and it was good. It was good. But my first hospital meal, I requested chicken tenders and fries, and it wasn't that good. By the time I got it, it was, the fries was, cold, but I ate it. Not by the waste of my food, but I ate my food. And we were just enjoying our baby and holding her. My husband got to hold her. Got to hold her and just look at her. It was amazing. And I was breastfeeding, while I was in the hospital. And the baby would cry and flip the food by the time that last day at the hospital. And I didn't know, the baby couldn't really get a good latch, but I used the nipple shield. But by the time I got home, I just decided that if this wasn't best for us, we both were stressed. Baby crying, I'm crying. It was just painful, and I just wanted the baby to be fed and happy, and I wanted us to get some rest. So ultimately, I say it's up to whatever's best for the baby. A fed baby is the best, no matter if it's breastfeeding, no matter if it's formula feeding. But I don't think moms should shame other moms for that decision or make them feel like they're better because, hey, I breastfed a whole year. Hey, I breastfed. Yes, it's good, it's amazing, but those formula fed babies, those moms who choose to formula feed, are just as good. As long as the baby's healthy, gaining weight, have wet diapers throughout the day, gaining weight, doubling their birth weight, and it doesn't matter if they're breastfed or not. As long as they're fed and happy. So that's what I had to tell myself and give myself grace to know that it's okay that the breastfeeding didn't work out. It's okay, So now my baby is gaining weight. About to be 2 months. Nobody can see this video. 2 months old. And I just thank God for her, and I'm ready for the next one. It's a healthy pregnancy, healthy journey. We just give God all the praise. And I thank Him, Many women, it's hard, but some women may not have the opportunity to have birth a child. So I thank God for that opportunity and that blessing to be able to birth a child naturally. And it's just amazing because in God's word it says we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God knows everything about us from the very amount of hairs on our head. He knows it. He knows it all. He knows it all. And I just thank God. So whatever God decides, if we decide to have more, that'll be a blessing. If we don't decide to have more, then that will be our choice. We both know we want 4 children, at least 2 more. But whatever the Lord decides, that's what we're gonna do. That's what. Just thank God what He's doing each moment. Know that each moment goes by so fast. There's a moment and be grateful and be thankful. Just a side note, just be kind to one another, respect one another, forgive one another, show God's love. Show God's love and be a light in this dark world. That's what's really important. Be a light. I hope y'all have enjoyed this Get Ready With Me video / labor and delivery story time. Let me put my last final touches. I hope you enjoyed this labor and delivery / Get Ready With Me story time. Like I mentioned, go ahead and like this video. Comment down below your labor and delivery experiences, your thoughts on this video, any future video ideas. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button. Show your love, show your support. Make sure you watch this whole video. Share it with others. Thank you so much for tuning in. May the peace of God be with you.